This is the guided practice for 7.3. Now we're still solving equations and we want to find what the variable is. Now we have subtraction here. When you have a subtraction one, you do the inverse operation, which means the opposite. So what I always like to do is I like to circle the variable. I want to get a all alone. So I have a minus 5. I want to get rid of that minus 5, so I have to do the inverse. I have to add 5. And if I add 5 to one side, I got to add 5 to the next side. Bring my a down, those cancel, equals 14. Now, I'm going to put it in just to check. 14 minus 5, does that equal 9? It sure does. So I know a is 14. Let's go over here to number 2. We have b minus 3 equals 7. I'm going to circle my variable. I want that one to be all alone. So I have minus 3. I want to get rid of that. I'm going to add 3. But I have to add it to each side. b equals, those cancel. 7 plus 3 is 10. Let's put it in there. 10 minus 3 equals 7. That equals 7. It is good. Okay. Let's do number 3. 4 equals y minus 8. I want to get my y all by itself. So I got to get rid of this 8. It's a minus 8, so I'm going to add 8. And I have to add 8 to each side. So 12 equals y. Those cancel. So I think y is 12. So let's try it. 4 equals y minus 8. 4 equals 12 minus 8. 4 equals 12 minus 8 is 4. Correct. 4 equals 4. So my answer is 12. Okay, let's do a couple, we'll just do one word problem here. Catherine studied 1.25 hours for her science test. This was 0.5 hours less than she studied for her algebra test. Okay, so we're starting with an algebra test. A equals algebra test. And with the algebra, she studied a half hour less. So let's minus 0.5. And that's going to equal the 1.25. Okay, so let's make sure this makes sense. Catherine studied 1.25 hours for her science test. So this is science here. That's my science test. This was a half hour less than she studied for her algebra test. Algebra test. So if I start with the algebra test, take a half hour away, it will give me the science test, which is what we figured out up there. So I want to get this a all by itself. So I have minus 0.5. I'm going to add 0.5 and add 0.5. Okay, if I do that, I get this a, these cancel, equals 7.1, 1.75. Now, it's hours. So, if I take the hours she studied for her science test, and then add 0.5, that is what I get for her algebra test. Okay? The way I set it up is I took the algebra test minus 0.5. This will equal my science test, which is 125. Okay? A little tricky. You have to think these out, but the word problems always are. So go ahead and try independent practice and see what you can do.